Oh no! Another day, another lawsuit Blake Lively is facing. Let's break it down. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. It's a Wednesday, and we went live because we have so much to catch up on. I'm going to try my best. I don't have as much time today. Wednesdays usually are my off day from being live. But Kim's going to be live after us, so go support It's Kim. We're going to join her over there in a minute. But Kim, I wanted to break. We're going to go through the timeline again. I owe part 2 of trying to breeze through the timeline. We're going to get there. But first, this dropped. This story never ends, Kim. Just nonstop lawsuits and fights and words. And now the infamous, from the shadows, Jed Wallace is stepping up from Street Relations, and many people were assuming he would be included in Blake's updated lawsuit. That him and Brian Friedman potentially are names that have been carried around of like, who else is she going to include? And this infamous Jed Wallace character seemed to be one. Well, looks like Jed's not holding back. He's fighting back first. So now he is suing. Blake has been slapped with a new lawsuit by Jed Wallace and his company Street Relations after she named both parties along with Baldoni in her suit for It Ends With Us. Wallace accuses Blake of falsely lumping his firm into the allegations she made against Baldoni and then sending the information to various media outlets, including Elle Magazine, despite the fact that Blake did not name Wallace or Street Relations in the lawsuit. Days later, he says the damage was done and the media continued to report he had engaged in illegal activity. That's the key word right here. Mm-hmm. Illegal activity. I got a big problem with this. And Elaine was out there saying it earlier, guys. If you missed this morning's video, Elaine from the Amber Heard trial, Miss Amika Cream herself. Yeah, she's back in the news. I can't believe it. And she's
turned her mic on at least.
She's defending Blake, of course, trying to make Amber relevant again. And see, guys, Amber didn't know. Blah, blah. Amber was anyway. Blah blah blah. But even that, she's like trying to make these statements that they were putting out knowingly false statements, etc. No, they weren't. There's no proof of that. There's no proof. Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, or chat. There's no proof of them putting out false stories. Then I think that's a big deter. If they knowingly put out false stories, then yes, I would actually be against them and say defamation, all the stuff that Blake's accusing. If they did anything, and I'm not even saying they did this, if they did anything, they maybe planted some truths out in the world. And, that's going to be the debate of whether that's retaliation. For me personally, it's not. But if everything they're saying is truthful, if everything that they're putting out there is truthful and in defense of smears and things that Blake was leaking out on her end, it actually is going to be fully in Justin's favor. And look, there's a part of this, I don't know what really went down. Was Jed Wallace and Melissa and all them, Sarah, Abel, whatever, were they all doing actually disgusting stuff behind the scenes? I don't know, because I didn't see it. When we were reporting stuff, none of it came to us, and we were the people reporting that allegedly stirred it all up and made everyone hate Blake Lively. Nothing we reported on was because of them. And nothing we reported on was false it was all watching Blake in her interview and watching Blake at this junket and watching Blake sell a booze brand. All of those things are truthful things. They're not made up crap and everything else. So we have to prove that Wallace was actually out there engaging in illegal activity. And then plus, Kim, I had a challenge, he didn't sign that agreement. He didn't sign the agreement when they made this deal that, Wayfair has to follow, blah, 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 blah. Technically, I guess he's working for Wayfair. That's what they're going to try to do. But, I don't know. All of this seems a lot more complicated than the narrative that Blake keeps trying to spill. And now Wallace is out there fighting for his name, saying that Blake doubled down on her conduct by asking the judge to authorize the taking of his deposition by falsely accusing him of being a subcontractor to a company called Tag to assist them in their unlawful retaliatory campaigns. As a result of the statements, Wallace said he has suffered millions of dollars of reputational harm, projected loss to the company exceed millions. I bet she had a lot of stuff to say, we could have nothing to do with you now, just based on the allegations. Blake's team calls BS. Another day, another state, another 9-figure lawsuit seeking to sue Miss Lively into oblivion for speaking out against SH and retaliation. Girl, that's not what this is. That's not what this is, especially the Jed Wallace part of it. She keeps trying to ring that bell and, no, it's because I spoke about SH. If Jed Wallace was involved, I don't even, who knows if he even knew there were SH allegations. He may have known they were false. There's so much more to the story than you can just try to blame. Oh, it's because he wanted to retaliate. Oh my God, it's so annoying. Are you getting frustrated by this too, Kim?
I am. I am frustrated with this mentality that it's like, It's fine for Blake to sue somebody. It's fine for Blake to make a complaint. But if anybody wants to defend themselves or say their perspective on the situation in court, apparently that's a bad thing. I think Jed has every right to share his side. His name has been dragged through the mud. We've seen it. And really, the question of how involved he is in this is still kind of out there. We don't have a huge amount of evidence when it comes to him to give us full perspective of what the heck is going on. So, my first reaction when I saw this lawsuit was, oh my gosh, another one. Like, seriously, I can't. And then my next reaction was, this could actually be good because I think this is going to give some more context to what has really happened behind the scenes here. If we really wanted to lift the veil, lift the curtain of everything that goes on with PR behind the scenes, this is a great way to see it.
Yep.
And he's opening himself up to discovery. He's opening himself up to deposition. He is putting himself out there saying, I don't have anything to hide. Let's go. And I want to see it. I think this is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and thank you. Chat's reminding. This is the astroturfing guy, allegedly. This is the one that they allege had the company to go out and do the work to go spread the lies or whatever they're trying to say. Now, exactly what you said is so key. Like, if you're really guilty of this, why would you sue and open up yourself to discovery and all the stuff that they're now going to get? Now, to be fair, they probably had a lot of it already from Abel's phone, but still, Jed Wallace and his street relations are now bringing this declaration of judgment against of defamation against Blake Lively. Wallace is a citizen of Texas, yada yada yada. Lively's an actress. On December 20th, Lively filed a complaint before the state, named Lively as complainant and Wallace and Street, among others, as respondents, and alleged they engaged in a variety of conduct in violation of California Code, FIFA. The CRD complaint went on to allege that plaintiffs' conduct includes SH, retaliation, failure to investigate, prevent or remedy harassment, and asking and obeying harassment, retaliation. It also asked politely to please see attached complaint for detail. The attached complaint, which we attach as Exhibit 2, describes precursor to a lawsuit, yada, yada, yada. Read the complaint. Trying to get to the specific thing. On the same day, Lively and her agents provided various media entities and out-of-court publications with headlines around the world, including Elle Magazine, which linked Wallace and were widely reported to be defendants of the formal lawsuit.
Although they were not.
Yeah, and
yeah,
here it is. Neither had anything. Indeed, having been the one harassed, she knew the exact opposite. So here, let me say this. Wallace and Street were widely reported to be the defendants in the federal lawsuit, although they were not. The confusion of being sworn by the precursor.
Yeah,
Lively admitted she knew of no facts to support the allegations against Wallace or Street. Having been the one harassed, she knew the exact opposite. Neither Wallace nor Street had anything to do with the alleged SH, retaliation, failure to investigate. Exactly. What would they have to do with any of that? Neither could they have been breached of a contract with Lively because no such contract exists with Lively. Exactly my point. And they were not, because if they were a subcontractor of a subcontractor, it has nothing to do with him. Why are you bringing him into this? And they were not involved in any of the events depicted in either the precursor, where they were named as defendants, or the formal lawsuit, where they were not named, which they could have, which they give rise to a duty towards defendant negligence and any other tortious conduct, false light, et cetera, et cetera. Then on January 22nd, he filed her petition for rule deposition against Wallace, but not Street, alleging on information and belief that Wallace was a subcontractor to TAG, where Melissa Nathan works. The petition conceded that Lively had no facts supporting the allegations made against Wallace and Street, made headlines around the world as she now, apparently under the threat of sanctions from one of plaintiff's attorneys, sought to investigate the scope of Mr. Wallace's conduct. According to the county online records, Lively non-suited her 202 petition today. Look, this is where it's all complicated. She made these threats. That's pretty much it. Then they go into causes a little specifically. Made all these threats without any proof is what he's now trying to allege. And he's saying there is no proof. And by doing this now, it potentially opens them up to actually come and get it. But now there's going to be severe penalties if it's not there. Now, I assume Blake's team's going to say, he deleted it all, whatever. Bullshit. There'd be a way to figure it out. There'd be some traces if he really did this. So I don't know. I find it pretty telling that he's now going to put himself out there like this. And second, yeah, Blake's team absolutely named him through New York Times. That's how I heard about this. Jed Wallace and Jed will go do this. They could have blacked all that out. They didn't. They absolutely set that all out without any actual proof, just some texts that Jed will do that. And as we went through those texts, Blake, about Blake, from that Blake leaked, there was no proof that he was doing anything illegal. There was, stuff about like, we don't want to say that we want to bury her. All that looked bad. I'm not going to lie, but that was still like emotionals. Like, he wants to, he's mad at her because she's doing all these false things. It doesn't mean they actually did it. There's no proof of them actually doing these things, and that's where it's all going to come down to. Now, could they have, right, Kim? They might have, and that's what this is all going to discover. So, interesting update regarding this. We'll see how this plays out, but it is an update, and Blake is now being sued again. She dropped that. It seems very clear that Jed is going to be included in the next lawsuit, amendum or whatever, against all this, and now he'll be more in the mix. So stay tuned as it all goes. But what this means is she may again be proven wrong if she can't find any evidence that Jed and Street, his management team, did it. She's in trouble, right?
I could see that being a problem for Blake as well. I think ultimately where I'm kind of sitting right now when it comes to the New York Times article and the information that we've gotten from Blake's camp is it is definitely missing context. We have now seen that looking at Justin's side of the conversations, of things that have been cherry picked, etc. And I am here for all of that coming out. So if Jed wants to share his side of the story, he should be able to. I'm hoping that it does give more clarification to some of the things that were alleged in the New York Times piece and in Blake's complaint. But I guess only time will tell, and we'll have to see where this goes.
Guys, we read part 2 of the complaint, the timeline rather, from his complaint. It was very telling. Thanks, Sits Kim. We're going live over her now. She's about to cross 30,000 subs. Go join her. We'll be back again live tomorrow to go through part 3. I'm keeping all the unlisted parts under the comments. Members, I hope you are okay with that. I want people to see all this evidence and our read through together. Typically, it's for a Patreon members only and members here, but giving you guys a tease. So if you like watching the replays, become a member on Patreon. It's the best way to support the channel. Also, you'll be able to catch our documentary that's in the works. Love you guys. Stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for all alerts. Kick that like button up and leave your comments down below. In the meanwhile, let's get ready to go raid It's Kim and get her to 30,000 subs. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. See you soon.